What's up YouTube? My name is Julius and I'm here to show you kind of a different video. It's about what's in my gear bag. Welcome back to the channel. By the way, all the stuff that I'm talking about is not sponsored or anything. This is just what I carry with me. Shooting with Canon, I started with a T7. I still actually have that in my bag here when I open it up. But I upgraded to a M50 because I shoot a lot more video now, and with YouTube content and everything. Yeah, let's dive right into it. So diving into the video, got my bag here open. First I got my bag from Amazon. I think I spent like 30 bucks on it, but it's a USA gear is what it's branded. So I'm not sure, but it did me pretty well. I think I've had it for about a year and a half. What's in the big bag right here? So when you open it up, pockets over here on the side, I have these mounting plates to like quick release and stuff. I mean, they're not like super quick or whatever. So I have that just chilling in there. And then I have one of these little stands that I got from, I think this thing, but I bought this. It's a selfie stick on Amazon for like 20 bucks when I was first shooting with my iPhone, which is what I'm shooting right now with to make this video. But that's what's in this little bag here, is I got two of these. And I'll lay them out so you guys got like a big picture of what I have in my bag. But let's dive into the second one. I lost a bunch of my filters and I only have just one of these now, and it doesn't really do much. I mean, it does a little bit, but I haven't really used it often, even in the, why isn't it? But yeah, so I haven't used that filter really much ever. But this is the main camera that I shoot with. I shoot with the Canon M50. Always shooting with a 24mm, like that's pretty much the standard. Every time I pull it out, this is what I got on. So this is a handle that I got, and it's a small rig, pretty much a small rig. It's pretty useful actually, because when I put my mic on it, you can have like a little cold shoe right here, you can have a cold shoe here, and then you can add more of the little stuff. And by the way, this video isn't sponsored, or I'm not being paid by anything to say this, as I said in the beginning, but that's my main camera that I shoot with. It's a mirrorless camera. It shoots way faster than the mirrored ones. So yeah, it's probably because it doesn't have a big ass mirror to worry about when you shoot, so it shoots way quicker. This is my first camera that I got. It's a Canon T7. I got this little doohickey on Amazon because I thought it was super cool, and I was like a super photographer or whatever when I was first getting into it. One of the things that I don't like about this camera is that it doesn't have the flip out screen. So for this one, I have way more flexibility in shooting. Like when I shoot cars, you can shoot low. Well, I guess you shoot high like this. You can shoot high with the camera, and then you can shoot low. And I use the low one a lot for video recording, or even just a flip out screen for video recording, just because I could see it a bit more better. But I'm planning on getting a 7-inch screen from Small HD here in a couple weeks. So I have that in the order. And the reason for that is because when I shoot residential or just even shoot video, it's hard to see on such a small camera. So I think having an external monitor is actually pretty helpful because of that sense. You can see much more. You can see what kind of whites, that you're hitting, and lights and all that stuff, like the white balance and everything, right? So I think it'll actually be pretty useful once I have this too. So it's no longer going to be kind of a useless camera for me. This one's hard because I've been wanting to have a 2-camera setup for my videos and stuff, but it's been just so hard with this one because there's no second screen, or there's no flip out screen. So I literally have to come back and forth to see if I'm focused, and if it's autofocused, it's a pain in the ass because I autofocus a lot of my stuff at the moment just to kind of help me out and make the production a little easier. But that's the two main cameras that I have with me, and the T7 is a great beginner camera. From what I found, it teaches you kind of like the mainframe of Canon itself and like the body and whatnot. I mean, all the cameras are pretty much built a little different. Like if you check this one out, it took me kind of like a little bit to get used to and whatnot. Once you start learning the systems, I guess it becomes easier. So those are those. I didn't have a lens set up on this one yet, but I do have my kit lens that came with the Canon T7. I only had one, but this is the 18 by 55 millimeter. I don't know. It does pretty well, actually. I still use this from time to time. I don't have a bunch of lenses, but I did notice with Canon is that they're a much more cheaper alternative to when you're buying lenses and stuff. So I was actually looking at, so when I got this lens, it's my wide angle lens that I use for a lot of my real estate work, even when I shoot videos and stuff. I've noticed that when I bought this, I aligned it with the Fuji that they have over, you know, on Fuji's mount and stuff. Like I was able to figure out that my buddy who owns one pays a little bit, almost ×2 of what I would have paid for this. So, I mean, it's 2020. I'm not sure what the prices are, but that's a pretty significant difference. If I bought this for $600, that means my buddy would have spent significantly more money for kind of the same lens with that manufacturer. Now, there's a bunch of lenses out there that you can buy. Just keep looking around. That's what I use for my real estate shoot mainly. This is the kit lens that it came with for my Canon M50. One thing to note when you're buying lenses or when you're first getting into photography is that they got different mounts on the camera. So if I were to take this off, I'm not gonna take it off because it exposes the mirror, and then I got a light over here, it could damage your camera. But you need an adapter depending on what you buy. So do your research on what can you know, be placed on what, because this is like an EF mount for this camera, but this one's the M mount that Canon has, and they do have a couple different ones, and like even the older cameras that shoot film have different mounts as well, and you can buy adapters for each one, hook them up, and kind of like plug and play that way. So for this one, I did actually get the Canon manufactured, which was a little bit more expensive. I more bought it just because of the aesthetics. Like I want my camera to match, but there's some on Amazon that you can get for like 25 bucks or something. I spent like 35 for this, but it's an EF adapter to adapt for the M mount. So the EF lens adapting to the M mount. So that's how that works out. There's this for video work. I always have a Rode mic with me. It's just always important to have just mic setup always. I'm planning on getting like cams or mics to put on the body, little tiny ones that you see on TV and stuff. This one, I've actually went to the pawn shop and bought this for like 60 bucks. So, you know, you never know what's out there. So go ahead and, you know, find your local shops. If you're trying to get a camera, they got plenty of cameras out there too. See what they got. Definitely want to test them out before you start buying them, because you know, I've seen cameras in those pawn shops with the mirror exposed, and that's a no-brainer. So that's what I got set up on here. I'm probably gonna make a video on adjusting audio and stuff, because the way that my cameras were set up it's different now, because I had to readjust some of the audio settings to practically one on my Canon M50. But once you hit it with an external mic, you'll be able to have more flexibility in your audio, and it won't sound all like, you won't hear massive pops and whatnot. So that's pretty interesting and cool to have. Here I have my filter, which I kind of use a lot, especially for summer times. I have my 24mm filter. I have two different hoods. I kind of use this one a lot more than I use this one with. I got this brand on Amazon. It's called Altura. I do have a quick release plate. This is for my gimbal though, because I always have this in this bag specifically, because I always detach it and put it in here. So usually how it goes is down here. I showed you that quick release plate, but the plate goes down here, and because of this handle, I have to take it off sometimes. So I'm thinking about getting a quick release for the handle itself, because on the gimbal it can get pretty big. So those are these three pockets. I do have a bunch of camera lens caps here, just chilling by themselves. Pretty much all it for the main bag. On the side pocket I got right here is just, like I said, selfie stick. Then we're gonna move into this little one right here. This, memory cards. So I carry these with me wherever I go. I always carry 2 memory sticks with me, because it does no harm to actually have extra memory. Actually, I feel like it does more good than bad, because the day you run out of memory on a shoot is the day that you look amateur. I'm gonna link to my Royal Renditions website up on the top. If you guys are in the Reno area and you want to get your shoots done, feel free to let me know. Here's this bag right here. A lot of it is more just business cards, because it's always good to be pitching yourself, right? But then I have chargers, always chargers on deck with me. When I charge them at my house, I just put them back as soon as my stuff is charged. At least you can charge your stuff, you know? So I have this little adapter that goes with the lens mount. You're not mounting straight to the camera body. You're mounting more on the lens side. So more, I guess it could be for more balance as well. I carry tempered glass just in case. Now they're just screen protectors. So if the screen protector breaks, I can replace it. This one's actually pretty interesting. I have a Moment lens with me. It's a wide angle lens that shoots, I think it was 15 millimeters. And when I first got into real estate shoots, this is one of the first lenses that I used to shoot those, because when I was shooting with the 24 millimeter, it wasn't wide enough for me. I had to figure out what I could do at, you know, a really reasonable budget. And for me, at the time, was grabbing one of those cases, getting one of these lenses and slapping it on, and it kind of did the work. Like, it was pretty good, because what you can do in post-processing is pretty wild. I carry some cables with me, a lot of them just to charge my gimbal, my drone, and then my iPhone as well. I carry a charging pack just so I always stay charged and whatnot. I have some Allen wrench tools here just for my handle on my M50 there. I got straps, and sometimes, because we hit all weathers here in Reno, I carry a bunch of these water things, like a little water wrap, and they're reusable. At least, well, I've always been reusing them, I don't know. But I never really had to use them yet. Here is like a backpack cover bag. So that's pretty much the top of my bag, just accessories that I have chilling in my bag, because you never know. Once you take something out, it's one of the pieces that you need for your shoot. Then I have my last one over here, and it's just 2 batteries. I always carry 2 M50 batteries because it drains batteries a lot. I also have an extra case for memory card, and also what I clean my lenses with. It's always good to have some of these little microfiber cloths, because you don't want to use your t-shirts on your lenses, because you can see the scratches once you do it over and over and over. So that's in that bag. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into what's in my drone bag. Diving into my drone bag, this is a new case that I bought from Best Buy. It is a Pelican case that I'm gonna be converting to my drone bag. Currently I don't have the insides cut out yet, but it is a much more rugged case as compared to this. So when I have my Dji Mavic, I fly a mini for right now. Right now I don't really see the need to really get a bigger one. I'll kind of show you guys the plan that I have for this. And as you can see, it's empty. There's nothing in it, but you can cut it out with a razor blade and kind of match what you got going on in the Mavic bag. So that's what I'm gonna do. But in this Mavic bag, I have, oh, by the way, if you get the Fly More series, I think is what it's called, you pay like an extra $100, but you get its own little hard case, pretty much extra wings, which are pretty helpful. I mean, I haven't really had to use the extra ones yet. This is it. It's pretty small, and especially when you're holding it in person, it's pretty tiny. It shoots 4K. Well, I don't know, 1080p. I'm not sure if that's like full 4K or whatnot. So it might not be full 4K, but it shoots for what it is, man. This is tiny. Like, that's pretty good resolution for me. And if a lot of people are watching those real estate videos on the phone, I mean, it doesn't really make that much sense to go from a 4K to 1080. I mean, I guess I could understand for like much more bigger shoots, like Tahoe shoots or something, much more bigger houses, but you could always just get away with a 1080, in my opinion. It comes with a little remote control. You just have these little thumb pads here. You screw them on and you're ready to go. And then it also has your cell phone as a monitor down here. So when I shoot this, I have my iPhone X on the ready, so I'll just plug it in real quick and launch from wherever I need to go. I finished the part 107, and actually, you know, it was pretty hard on its own. One thing I do have also is that this one came with 3 batteries. You can see that they're not like fully charged because I've been flying quite a bit. Don't ever leave not charged. So I'm gonna charge those today, but that's in my drum bag. Like I said, I'm not sponsored or anything, but I will leave a list down in the description below. Check them out on Amazon. You can see and shop from, if you don't want to go out, it's 2020, right? We got things that we're worried about, shop online, and then click those links. So I got the Crane 2. This is this bag. It's a much more heftier bag. I got 2 different kinds of batteries because the interesting thing is a lot of the gear that's being used in photography and stuff are all coming out with these type of batteries. So they're almost like you can plug and play with different ones. This is the main gimbal itself, pretty big. Look at how many pounds it weighs. I think it's about 5 pounds, so carrying this around all the time can get kind of heavy. It's all like aluminum or steel, or I'll leave the description down below on each one of these things so that you can take a look at the parts itself and kind of get a feel of what you want. So that is pretty much all the stuff that I carried with me. Did have this one as well. So this is one of the gimbals that I had for my iPhone when I first got into it. It's called the Smooth Q, and I think this is the first gen. It did a lot of wonders for me when I shot with my iPhone. That's how I started with a lot of my projects, was my iPhone X and a gimbal. If you're brand new to the channel and this helped you out, feel free to hit that subscribe. Feel free to hit that like to see more. Gonna constantly be upgrading more stuff all the time. That's kind of what we have to do, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it.